Hello, this is Mr. Jarrett, and in this video tutorial we're going to be 3D modeling this object in SolidWorks. So the first thing I'll take note of here is where my origin is located, and I can see my origin is located way down here in this bottom left-hand corner. The second thing I'll take note of are my units, and I see that I'm in IPS. That's why I have a lot of decimal places. Now if I look a little bit closer at this, I can see that there is an auxiliary view up here, and it's flipped upside down, and it says that it needs to be shelled. So that shell or this little auxiliary view gives me some extra information that's important. So the first thing that I can see is that I have two of these little holes. So this one and this one, meaning these two, actually have a casing around it or a shell around it. So there's a wall thickness there. And then this one actually goes the whole way through. So if I am going to shell this thing out, I actually have to do this in some sort of orderly fashion. Meaning I'm going to draw the entire thing, get the whole body all shaped up, and then I'm going to cut these two in first, then shell it. Okay, so if I shell it before, I won't actually have these walls because when I cut, it'll just cut a hole right through. So I need to do these two small ones first and shell it so that it actually gives a wall thickness when I do the shell. And then after the shell, I'll cut this hole all the way through. Okay, so let's pull this to our other screen if you can. And in SolidWorks, let's make a new part file. So I'm going to be sketching right on the front plane, and I need to make sure that my units are in IPS. My computer defaults to that, so I am good to go. And I'm going to sketch right here on the front, and I'm going to try to draw out the entire picture. So just get your line tool, start right on the origin in that corner, and just kind of work your way up. And it goes on an angle, it goes in, up again, it's a little cutout here, straight up, another angle, and make sure that you're not set to parallel here because we don't know if it actually is or not. Then across the top, back down on another angle. Again, let's not be perpendicular. Don't have anything that's preset because we don't know if it's actually perpendicular. Try to just draw an angled line. And that's going to come way down here. Then straight down. And I'm going to try to make sure it's across from my origin and all the way back over. Okay, so I'll hit escape. This bottom line, if you just set that to horizontal, it might fix up a bunch of your issues here. And then we can actually start to dimension this. So the total length across the entire bottom, it says it is 4.26. It says that this little wall over here, the height of that is 0.4. It says this is 60 degrees, so zoom in here. And we might want to actually set the overall height so our lines don't overlap like that. So click your top line and your bottom line. And let's set the overall height, which is 2.21. So that'll bump that thing up a lot more. Now the next line up here is an angled line, and we can see in the picture it's 60 degrees. But if we look close at this picture, we can actually see that the degree mark is to the right of the angled line. So you see there's this horizontal line here. So that means we're going to be clicking on a horizontal line, the bottom one, not this vertical one. So I'm going to show you why I actually am going to do that. If I click on this vertical one and this one and put 60 degrees in here, that's going to be wrong. That's going to bump it way over there. What I actually want is 60 degrees underneath. So you're going to get your Smart Dimension tool, select this bottom line and that angled line. See, we want 60 degrees in here to the right of the angled line. Okay, so that's about the degree that we want. Then it says from this line to this dot, that's what that random 43 is. So 0.43 in between there. This next little vertical piece, it has 0.32. It says going back, so this piece, if we follow that straight up, you can actually see that there's a measurement way up here. That's actually going to be 0.5. Okay, this in cut is also 0.5, so it pushes that in. Now the height of this So this little tiny distance here is 0.12. This line's height is 0.41. So I'm going to clean this up a little bit because I know this is getting confusing for people. Okay. And then up at the top, it says that if you click on this line and move straight up, it has a distance of 0.3. Right now, a lot of this is still blue because it doesn't know where this is. We almost have to assume that this line and this line right here are going to be collinear or straight in line with one another. Okay, so those are collinear, meaning, and I kind of guess this because this cutout is similar. So since this cutout is supposed to be the same, that means that this is going to be collinear. So that bumped everything over, it kind of fixed all that up. And now if I move over to the right side of this, I still have some underdefined stuff. So I'll get our smart dimension tool, let's click on this line, and it says the height of this is 0.9. It says across the top, this piece is actually 1.26. So that should fully define everything. We'll go to the Features tab and hit Extrude. And since I'm actually drawing on the front plane and my origin is supposed to remain on the bottom left front of this, it means I'm going to go backwards. And I'll go back the total distance, and it says that distance is 1.44. I'll hit the green check. Now, I do have this big section here that's still solid. So I now need to cut that out. So you could do this several different ways. You could sketch on this side, you could sketch on the top, the bottom, the front, whatever you want to do. I am just going to sketch right up on the top, and I'll hit Control 8. Okay, and then I'll get my rectangle tool and just click this front corner and just draw a rectangle in. Now I can actually do my measurements. So from here to the back, it said it is 0.56. So that's going to define all of that. And then the distance in is actually determined from here all the way over to here. And that is 3.18. I'll go to the Features tab and hit Extrude Cut. And I'll just cut that through all. If I rotate down, you see what I'm doing. I'm actually drawing up here. It's just going to cut that all off. Green check. So now I pretty much have that shape. Okay. Now I'm going to do my two small holes. So I'll do the first one here. I'll just get my sketch tool and click on this wall. I'll hit Control 8, rotate around. Draw a circle. And I'll dimension this. So it says it is a diameter of 0.4. It has a depth of 0.1. So when we cut, we're going to be going in 0.1. But from the front to its center point, it says it is 0.41. And from the bottom up to the center point, it says it is 1.07. Okay, now I can go to the Features tab and hit Extrude Cut. And again, this only goes in 0.1. 0.1. Okay, so that's just slightly. 0.1. Now I'm going to sketch on this wall right here. I'll hit Control 8, rotate around, and I'll go through that same process. Get your circle tool, draw a circle here. It says it has a diameter of 0.3. It says from the bottom up to its center point, it's 0.49. And from the far right line to its center point, it has 0.66. This one is actually going to get cut all the way through. So Features tab, Extrude Cut, and we'll set through all. Now you do want to make sure that you're actually going the back way, not forward. Okay, but if you have through all, it should be doing that. Green check, that goes the whole way through. Now I'm going to do my shell. So I'll rotate this around, get my shell tool, and it says it has a measurement of 0.05, and I'm looking at that small picture in the top right, and I'll just click on the bottom and hit the green check. So you see, by doing it in this order, we're left with a wall thickness there and a wall thickness here. Okay, now I can put in my last hole. So we're going to get our sketch tool. We'll click right on the front, hit Control 8, draw a big circle, and that thing has a diameter of 0.9. From the bottom up, it says it is 1.26, and in from this edge, it has a measurement of 1.05. Now I can go to the Features tab and hit Extrude Cut, and we're going to cut through all. Green check. By doing that, again, you can see there is no wall thickness for this. There's not like an extra shelled out piece because we did that after the shell. So our shape is pretty much done. There are no fillets or anything like that. So let's change our material. It says it is AISI 304. So we're going to actually have to hit the edit material. And that's going to be in our steel folder. So if we scroll down, it should be right there, AISI 304. Hit apply and close. And let's evaluate this. So you should get a mass of 0.34. Your center of mass should be 2 for the x, 1.07 for the y, and a negative 0.78 for the z. If you got that, you can save this, move on to the next one. If you did not, please problem solve and figure out where you went wrong.